You're tuned to The Drive on your 24/7 home of the black and gold. Steelers Nation Radio.
Good afternoon, Steelers Nation. It's The Drive on the Steelers Audio Network. Wes Uhler and Matt Williamson with you here on this Thursday, as we've got so much to get to and so little time. A lot of moving and shaking, and Black Monday has extended all the way to Thursday now.
Oh,
here,
yeah, it's
Matt.
an ongoing process, yeah.
As we have some more significant news to start us off today as it relates to head coaching dismissals and head coaching searches around the National Football League. And let's kind of start from the top here. Something that we had talked about was, even after Harbaugh, this coaching carousel might not be done. Mm-hmm. And you highlighted especially the Miami Dolphins and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as two other teams that
possibles,
possible, not just out of the woods yet. If you're those coaching staffs, and well, one of those shoes fell today as the Miami Dolphins fired head coach Mike McDaniel. And also announced that they are expected to hire their new general manager soon with that as well. So let's start there. Surprised, not surprised, kind of, sort of. What was your kind of initial reaction to the Mike McDaniel firing?
Yeah, and I want to focus on McDaniel and the Dolphins, but it also was sent out today that Tampa is keeping Bowles,
but firing
the offense coordinator. Grizzard, Lizard, Wizard, something. Is that a band?
Slizzard. Yes, King.
My buddy's like, yeah.
King. It's funny because I know your buddies are they're into some of the jammier music I am, and you've told me like Billy Strings. Oh, your guys, my buddies love him. Yeah, King Wizard and the Lizard Gizzard is a popular jam band going around now.
Anyway, I gave McDaniel 50-50. I mean, it seemed like a month into the season, 6 weeks into the season. Oh man, this is a disaster. Couldn't have gone worse. Yeah, I thought he might. I'm shocked he made it as long as he did. And then by the point where the Steelers were playing him, it's like, wow, they're putting things back together, and they had a winning streak going, and didn't have Tyreek and some of their dudes, and had traded the guys at the deadline, and had already fired their GM at that point. So I figured he might be safe. He's making a lot out of nothing here. But they've been kind of spinning their wheels with the same approach for a couple years in a row. Yeah. They pushed a bunch of chips in the middle on Tyreek and Tua and play in the way that they do, which is speed, and, that type of thing. And I will give them credit. They adapted over the last year or so, and my big thing with them is too many Ferraris, not enough dump trucks. But they did get a couple dump trucks, and then they realized the error in their ways. Too little, too late. The hunch, and this is just like rumor and speculation, which is everywhere this time of year, of course, is they must think they at least have a shot at Harbaugh.
Okay.
Because I got the impression that McDaniel probably keeps his job unless there's some other option that they're be super attracted to. And that guy popped up, so I think maybe they were, thinking they're at least involved there, because I think he is going to visit there and interview.
Okay.
Now, I say that for a couple reasons. First off, I don't think it's a very attractive job. I mean, if you're Harbaugh, I think you could, if you're the pick of the litter of the coaches, you could do better.
You could be in a better quarterback situation,
right.
a better organizational position of strength.
Yeah, I mean, for a couple reasons. First off, Tua is a problem, and his contract's a real problem.
Albatross.
It's a real problem. And do you really want to do battle with Drake May and Josh Allen for the next 10 years? I mean, you're a long way away from being with those guys.
That's a good point.
But there's no division that's wonderful. You know what I mean? Like, you can't always just look at it that way. Like, we're the three easiest teams to play. There's only 32 jobs. Miami doesn't have any state income tax. That's kind of nice.
That is nice.
And you're going to make Harbaugh's going to make a big buck. I mean, of course. I mean, you never see coaches' contracts.
If you look, like, teams from Florida have won like 4 of the last 5 or 6 Stanley Cups in the NHL, and I think there's a direct correlation to that no income tax.
Yeah, it's
a
big percentage.
How the Panthers and the Lightning have built such good rosters.
Yeah, and frankly, I think sports needs to examine that at some point to be like, well, then their salary cap should be smaller
Oh,
or something.
people from Canada won't stop complaining about
they
it.
hate it, yeah.
As like, the Edmonton Oilers losing the Florida Panthers. Yeah, but look at their roster. They're paying all these guys way less because they don't have income tax.
It is a competitive advantage for sure. Where was I going with that, though? Oh, and their owner.
Harbaugh division.
Yeah, their owner is a big Michigan guy.
Yes.
He was linked to Brady and obviously must have brother Harbaugh connections like crazy. So maybe that's what happens. Again, jumping to conclusions here, but that's the rumors of the day, too, around that. I would assume McDaniel, at a minimum, will be the most sought-after offensive coordinator out there.
Yes. I would think so.
I think he'll be a head guy next year.
I would think so.
Yeah.
And a pretty darn good one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Highly desirable.
Yes. So that's interesting from Harbaugh's standpoint. I mean, we know that there's going to be some real interest for him.
Mm-hmm.
Giants, Dolphins, maybe some of these other teams.
They're the ones that seem to be linked most to him today.
Shiny silver object before we get back into this. Do any of those if you're John Harbaugh, do any of the openings, is there one that you're like dialed in on as that's the most attractive? Like we talked about this yesterday from the Ravens becoming the most attractive open job for Harbaugh.
That's kind of funny, yeah.
What's the best one that's open other than Baltimore?
Yeah, it's funny because the Ravens now are the best job and he's the best candidate, but they're not going together. You pretty much know that. Maybe the Giants. I mean, I know they haven't won forever. But I still think that ownership group, like the Rooneys, is still really sought after, respected, patient. He'd have a lot of power there. I mean, probably any of these spots, you'd have a lot of power, which is a little different than Baltimore's. I mean, as big as he was there, there was always Ozzie or DeCastro or whatever his name was, in charge of the roster and whatnot. So I think those are probably your two best landing spots if you're him. If you like Dart.
That's
a big
kicker.
Caveat with the Giants.
Or does he look at an Arizona Cardinals or a Vegas Raiders and say the slate's completely blank?
Yeah, I can do whatever I want.
I've got a crazy long leash.
Right.
I can go get my quarterback. It'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. But we do know that Mike McDaniel is now out in Miami. Dolphins job added to that list of openings.
Mm-hmm.
As you mentioned, I think McDaniel certainly. I don't know if he's going to get any head coaching interviews, but he would
not.
He would have a lot of takers for OC positions.
I mean, I think he'll be one of these coordinators that like breaks the bank. Like Chip
if you're
Kelly
the Commanders,
did,
bring him in to work with Daniels. If the Chiefs end up losing Nagy, which sounds like it's going to happen, bring him in to work under Andy Reid. I mean,
the one that actually appealed to me, and we'll talk Steelers stuff here in a minute, but what about the Lions?
Oh, man.
And that's like frightening. You give him Jahmyr Gibbs.
I would hate that.
Yeah, right. I mean, you give him those weapons.
You give him some Ferraris
line.
And some dump trucks.
Right. I mean, he's had to adjust to Tua. I mean, I don't think he'd play it exactly that way in a perfect world. It's something else smart to say. Probably not. Whatever. Get around to it.
He was 4 years in Miami, 9-8 the first year, lost to the Bills in the wild card game, 11-6 the second year, lost to the Chiefs in the wild card. 8-9 last year, didn't make the playoffs. 7-10 this year, didn't make the playoffs.
That's not that horrible, though.
No, 35-33 overall.
It's not with an A-plus quarterback or a great roster,
The Dolphins had made the playoffs one time in like the 20 years prior before he took over.
He definitely progressed them in the right way.
Absolutely.
No doubt.
Absolutely. I mean, that 11-6 season they had 2 years ago was the best year that Miami has had in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll land on his feet. Probably not as a head coach, but he's certainly going to have a lot of great OC opportunities. And Matt, let's transition that into the Steelers.
I know what I was going to say real quick is Harbaugh, what's a little bit unique about him, although he's kind of past this point because he has such a strong resume as a head coach, his specialty isn't on offense or defense. I mean, he was a special teams coach. So it's not like you hire him. For someone as established as him, I would want a little bit firmer knowledge of who are your coordinators.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Just because he's not going to coordinate either side of the ball.
Sure.
He's a CEO.
Sure. And speaking of coordinators, speaking of the Pittsburgh Steelers, one of those jobs that is currently open for the next head coach is that of the Tennessee Titans.
Mm-hmm.
They were, if I'm remembering correctly, they were the first organization to fire their head coach this year, right? I mean, like 2 months ago. It's been a while.
The Giants were both early.
Giants were pretty early too, and we thought that Miami was going to be in that company for a while. But Arthur Smith His former team, the Texans, of course, that's where he was offensive coordinator before he was the head coach of the Falcons for a few years before coming to the Steelers. Mm-hmm. The Tennessee Titans have requested to interview Arthur Smith for their vacant head coaching position.
Yeah, I don't know much to react for. Good for him. I'd be real interested in McDaniel if he would happen to leave. That's why I brought it up. Right.
That's absolutely would be, I think, a very welcomed replacement if Arthur Smith does end up getting a
congratulate him,
and
that's what you want, right? I find it kind of interesting, that one of the criticisms of Tomlin over the years are, your coordinator's your coaching tree's bad, blah blah blah. Well, he's getting interviews for the head job, and I'm sure he's familiar with ownership.
I always go. This is an off-season conversation that we could kick around and have fun on, but I always go so back and forth on that coaching tree thing. Because Bill Belichick has one and it sucks.
And they all got head jobs. They're all bad, right?
All of them, from Charlie Weiss to Josh McDaniels and everybody in between.
Yeah.
Matt Patricia, and they've all flamed out.
They've all flamed out.
And then there's Nick Saban, who has an amazing coaching tree. All 4 head coaches in the college football playoff today and tomorrow all worked under Nick Saban at Alabama at one point.
But
cool. He stunk in the pros.
Oh, right.
Like,
but he's a college guy, right?
So it's just I
like
never.
Walsh has a great one. And that's fine, but it doesn't mean that it's not my job is to turn you into the next Hall of Fame coach.
Yes, exactly.
I don't know. I have mixed feelings on that too.
Now, if you want to say to me the Steelers aren't getting their coordinators plucked enough like this for higher highfalutin jobs, fine.
Oh yeah.
Like I want my offensive and defensive coordinators interviewing for head coaching jobs. That means they're doing a dang good job.
I mean, that's one of the problems of hiring a defensive-minded head coach is if you're great at hiring offensive coordinators, which frankly the Steelers have not been great at, they get plucked, and you go find another one. I mean, the Tampa Bay problem. You lose 2 great ones in a row that turn into really nice head coaches.
But I'd rather have that problem than firing my guy like I'm Tampa now.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like this happens a lot in college at programs like Pitt and West Virginia.
Yeah.
They hire Pat Narduzzi. And it's like, if he has success, all he's going to do is go back to Michigan State or go back to the Big Ten.
Go back to where he was.
If that happens, that means you had some really bleeping good years.
That's what you're hoping for. That's the light at the end of the tunnel, right? That's the goal here, right?
WVU hired Dana Holgorsen when he was like the up and coming, sexy offensive coordinator, and if he has a bunch of success, he's just going to leave for Texas or Oklahoma. Okay, if Texas or Oklahoma steal your head coach, you know how good that guy was?
You're not focusing on the right part of the sentence.
Exactly
if you have a lot of success.
Exactly.
That's what matters here. We're trying to win games, right?
Nobody is trying to pluck the offensive coordinator from the Las Vegas Raiders, although it was Chip Kelly and he got fired.
But it's a mess, right?
But you get what I'm saying.
Does he go back to college? That's where he belongs,
I think
right?
So.
Yeah.
I think. In fact, did he already do that?
I don't know. I haven't paid attention.
Trying to. Northwestern. Yeah, which is
head guy.
Interesting. Offensive coordinator.
Offensive coordinator.
I wonder
if he doesn't want to be a head guy anymore.
At Northwestern. Maybe he doesn't. I mean, he is 62. Maybe he just wants to be an OC and be comfortable and not have as much on his plate. But for Arthur Smith, I mean, there's connections there. He's from Tennessee. Yeah. He spent a long time with that organization. Mm-hmm. He's a young, exciting, up-and-coming quarterback. In a lot of draft and resource capital to work with. I mean, if Arthur Smith wants this opportunity, I think he's got a good shot to get it, and I wouldn't blame him.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it'd be great for him. I would think he's not the leader in the clubhouse. I mean, they're looking like most teams, 6-7 guys are going to interview.
6-7. Sorry, I had to.
But he's got a shot.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. So that'll be something we'll keep an eye on. I mean, that's a obviously a pretty significant storyline.
No, congrats to him. I mean, just getting an interview is a big accomplishment for a head job.
Absolutely. And again, this is what you want. This is, you want your coordinators getting interviewed for head coaching jobs. I was trying to look at some of the other names that have been floated around the Titans. I know Jeff Hafley, the defensive coordinator for the Packers. Is one of those guys. But haven't seen a ton of other names at this point, but I'm sure those will start rolling out soon. The name that people
talk the most about is Nagy with the Chiefs. I think they hired – I think the GM came from the Kansas City organization, and Nagy, I think, is the leader in the clubhouse.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
He's probably the leader in a lot of clubhouses in terms of this conversation at this moment.
Yeah, and I don't quite get it, to be honest with you, because he wasn't successful as a head coach with the Bears, and they had a really, really good defense. He's an offensive-minded guy, and those Bears teams had great defenses, which he kind of inherited.
Yeah.
And this is going to sound bad, but it's also an indictment on Andy Reid. You have the best quarterback in the world, and your offense has sputtered and gone backwards the last couple of years in Kansas City. They don't out-scheme people like they used to.
No, they don't. And they've lost a lot of talent.
They have.
Because that's what happens when you win championships.
Kelsey gets a little older, and
guys get a little bit older, and a lot of the big name guys on their offensive line have been signed to big deals otherwhere. A couple of the guys on their defense, bigger names, have signed big deals everywhere. When you're paying Mahomes that type of money, you can't afford to keep everybody. Yeah. Chris Jones, that type of money. That'll be a very interesting one to see. A lot of this moving and shaking, and if Nagy moves, the ripple effect that has with people like McDaniel and the offensive coordinator conversations. But that's kind of our news of the day. And you mentioned Bucs firing their offensive coordinator, Josh Grizzard, the Wizard Gizzard as well. And so the staff changes and firings and dismissals and interviews continue to roll on here, and we'll keep tabs on it.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot. Yeah.
There certainly is, and we are just getting started. Hey, Steeler fans, get ready for the Black and Gold to take on the Houston Texans at the Steelers playoff party presented by your neighborhood Ford store. This Saturday, 5 to 7 at Tequila Cowboy, hosted by Rob King and Charlie Batch. And two jabronis named Tom Opferman and Wes Uhler will be broadcasting the party live on Steelers Nation Radio 102.5 DVE HD2, and of course, as always, on the iHeart Radio app. That's 5 o'clock Saturday here on SNR. And of course, if you're in the area, come out and see us at Tequila Cowboy. If you do come to the Steelers playoff party, you will receive a Steelers koozie, a rally sign, chances to win playoff tickets, and autograph giveaways. Steely McBeam will be on site, plus a Steelers alumni legend appearance. One legendary Pittsburgh Steeler, maybe even more than one, but we'll see who that will be on hand at Tequila Cowboy as well. And if you are under 21, you need to be accompanied by an adult, all right? Please RSVP in advance on Steelers.com. I'll be there. I'll be the handsome guy up on stage waving a terrible towel. Saturday, 5 o'clock at Tequila Cowboy. You can hear myself and Tom, and I'm sure we'll nab Rob and Charlie and whoever that alumni guest is to join us at some point. Will be a lot of fun as we get ready for Monday Night Football. Well, Monday Night Wildcard Football against those Houston Texans. We'll start to look at the stats, the matchups, the numbers, the analytics behind Steelers and Texans when we return. We'll talk to our buddy Bob Labriola in this hour as well. So plenty more as we are just getting started here on The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Rolling along here on The Drive, and it's time to talk some matchups, talk some math stats, as it is a Thursday, and obviously it is time to really start focusing on and previewing this big matchup between the Steelers and the Texans on Monday night. Of course, wild card weekend across the National Football League. We got college football playoff today, Thursday, and tomorrow, Friday, and then wild card games Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 5 straight days of very important football. And for both of these teams, Matt, as we start to look into some of your numbers and some of the matchups and things like that.
Yeah, there's some interesting one-on-one matchups for sure.
There's some very interesting one-on-one matchups, and I want to get into those with you here, but a little bit of an overview first. Listen, the turnover battle, the turnover margin, ball security, it's massive in every NFL game, every college football game, high school football game. It's a huge
Goes without saying, sure.
Huge part of the equation. But I think especially for both of these teams and their defenses, the Houston Texans so far this season have scored 90 points off of turnovers. Mm-hmm. That's 4th most in the NFL.
That's a lot, yeah, it's done.
The Pittsburgh Steelers have scored 101 points off of turnovers. That's 3rd most in the NFL.
Yeah.
This Houston defense has only allowed 29 points off of turnovers when their offense gives the ball away. That is the lowest in the National Football League.
So they toughen up in those tough situations when it does happen. And, by the way, Houston's great in turnover differential, too.
Outstanding.
I mean, it's one of their absolute traits. Usually the Steelers have the edge just in the turnover department overall going into games. This is one you wouldn't say they do. Right.
And when Mike Tomlin, that kind of typical cadence that he has to his Tuesday press conferences, he talks about the last game, he gives any injury updates, and then he previews the next game. And when he got into that portion of previewing the next game and talking about Houston, that was one of the first things that he mentioned.
Okay.
Was, how often their defense takes the ball away. They do a good job of taking care of it on offense, particularly in the last month or so when C.J. Stroud really hit his stride, something that we talked about.
Yeah, I did that Wednesday show
yesterday.
with Tom and Tim last night, and I had not heard the entire press conference. I mean, I knew the injury stuff. We go over it. I had not watched the whole thing. And Tim made a point. He's like, he didn't talk a lot about Stroud, and the reporter, antenna went up.
Sure.
Like he kind of was talking about Davis Mills, but he immediately said values of football. Like that. That's it, you can tell. I'm sure that is a huge theme through the South Side this week is value the football, take the ball away, value the football. More than ever. And it always is, but more than ever.
Always is for this Steelers team, but that better be especially the case Monday night against the Texans team, who was just as good, if not a little bit better in that department.
Yeah, opportunistic defense. They got 4 guys with 4 interceptions. I mean, that's rare.
Yes.
They generate through pass rush. It's not like it's a super schemed-up defense. Stroud and the offense do value the football well. They're good on special teams. It's a playoff team,
Matt, let's stick with the Steelers defense here a little bit and talk about third downs, talk about conversion rates. Okay, so the league average for a third and medium conversion rate in the National Football League is just a little over 41%, 41.3%. The Steelers allow a third and medium conversion rate on defense 53.3% of the time.
Worst in the league.
Worst in the National Football League, an average of 8.4 yards per allowed. Now, I guess some good news is if you look at the top 5 teams that struggle in this department, the Carolina Panthers and the Philadelphia Eagles are also in that top 5 with the Steelers.
Playoff teams.
3 of the top 5 are playoff teams, so it is something that you can overcome. By maybe forcing more third and longs, right, as opposed to third and mediums. But 75 plays this season, the Steelers faced third and medium situations. On those 75 plays, they allowed a first down 40 times.
Yeah.
It's
It's them and the Bengals, and it's a gap that you get to 30.
Yes, it is.
That's why I kind of put it out there, is because it's stunning. I heard something about that on a show I was listening to, and I wanted to double-check and see where the discrepancy is and all those things. Now, I think a huge key to this game, and it's a very attainable one, is Houston runs the ball. That's probably what they do worst. Of all the things about the Houston Texans, if you analyze their team top to bottom, big picture items, big bullet points, their offensive run game is their weakest area. There's really no weaknesses on defense. They throw the ball pretty well, good on teams, et cetera. Well-coached team. Turnovers are great, as we mentioned. But can you get them into third and longs?
Yeah.
And I think that's
Make
quite
Stroud
feasible.
have
You're right.
to do it.
Because they, as much as they trust Stroud and like him, they don't ask him to throw a super high percentage of the time. They're not going to Joe Burrow it and say throw it 50 times if they can help it. They stay pretty dedicated to the run. It's a defensive-minded head coach. They understand the value of time and possession. But I don't think it's all that extreme to think you could get deep into the second quarter or into the second half and make them more or less one-dimensional, and really keep them. If the Steelers play run defense like they have lately against a not-so-good run defense and your D linemen have an advantage over their O linemen, I said this on another show, I bet Houston adds a back at some point. Like Woody Marks is fine, but Mixon was supposed to be the guy. They grabbed Chubb off the scrap heap. Like, that's one of their biggest needs is just a ball carrier, too. And they don't have
like
it.
An early day 2 pick in April.
Exactly. Like a quality young guy to complete the picture. But I think you could make them one-dimensional and get them into third and longs.
Well, that is the goal, certainly. And, that needs to be an area where the Steelers excel, because one of the crazy things that stuck out to me, Matt, in your weekly stats packet, the Houston Texans have won 15 straight games when they score over 20 points.
Yeah, it's not that much to get to.
Not 24, not 27, not 20
Getting
plus, 15 straight games. They
might not be the best offense in the league, but getting to 20 is not that hard for Stroud and Nico. And
Right.
Yeah.
They are 11-0 this year when they score 20-plus points. They're the only team in the NFL without a loss when they put at least 20 points on the scoreboard.
It shouldn't be a magic number that low.
And they have played in 9 games this season where there have been fewer than 40 total points scored. Only Cleveland has more with 11.
And you'd think the Browns would lead the league.
Of course.
Because they're a comparable defense with a garbage
They had to win a
offense.
lot of 13-6 games, the Browns did, if
That's
they
their
wanted
only
to,
path to victory.
if they wanted to win.
Yeah, I think that's very telling. I mean, Can the Steelers keep the Texans to under 20? It's asking a lot. I mean, that's asking a real lot.
It sure is.
Yeah.
It sure is.
Another thing I found interesting, it's right in that area of the stat pack is, boy, I mean, I made a couple of comments throughout the course of the year. It's like, I feel like every week when we're picking Texans games, they played a great team, and they played a great team the week before, and they played a great team before that. And we all know they started 0-3 and that they're on a 9-game winning streak now. They end up with 5 losses. 4 of the 5 teams that they lost to won 12 or more games. I mean, they're like the best teams in the league is who you lost to. I mean, like, they're just going through their schedule. It's like they have an easy game, and they won way more than they lost, and the ones they lost were against big-time teams.
They had one of those very difficult first-place schedules.
Yeah.
And
I think I told you, I think they're 3rd or 4th in DVOA overall.
I believe it.
Right. Because a lot of that's who you played. And
completely believe it.
Yeah.
Matt, an area where the Texans really excel, area that they've had success all year, is time of possession.
Yes.
They have the 4th highest on average in the NFL, only Bills, Chargers, and Bucks with a better TOP than Houston. And
they're not a great running team.
Right. And they're also 4th in time of possession in the league in road games. So it's not just a home split thing. It's something that they do on the road. Matt, we know you and I almost talked about this at nauseum. We almost beat this horse to death talking about Steelers and their struggles in time of possession and play differential until what? About late November?
And the last 5 weeks or so have gone
November-ish.
Totally opposite direction.
So let's start here before we get into the ebb and flow between the Steelers in this regard and how important it is. You and I go back and forth sometimes about the things that you and Dale used to joke about, the things that Moats and I used to joke about. A Arthur Moatsism was, I always want to hear your praise be as loud as your criticism. You know, if you were crushing Joey Porter Jr. for 2 years, make sure you're singing his praises now.
Yeah,
you know, like
when they deserve it.
When they deserve it. We're so quick and vocal to criticize people, but then we don't keep that same energy whenever it's time to give them credit.
Right, and that's unfair.
That is unfair. I understand it sells, right? That's our business. That's everybody's business. That's the media, news, whatever in general. There's a reason that the 3rd grader selling Girl Scout cookies doesn't lead off the local newscast and raising money for her local charity. It's the person, who got shot or ran over or whatever. If it leads, it bleeds. That's or if it bleeds, it leads. Okay. That's like that's the kind of prevailing logic in the news world. Let's give the Steelers some credit and
a lot of credit.
And really, I want to know your who, what, when, where, why, and how. How were the Steelers able to flip their time of possession over these last 5-ish games into what was such a weight around their neck?
Oh, so brutal before.
Into what's now become a bit of an advantage lately.
Yeah, and they've been against good running teams too. Baltimore, Miami, etc. But I think more of than. I remember we were talking about going to the doctor and fix your time of possession. The doctor said, here's a script for running the football more. Well, they don't. I mean, it's still not a high percentage run offense, despite being quite good at it. And that's still a criticism I have. They're almost 2 different related things. But I do think they throw the ball a higher percentage than I would like, and they can get away from their run game. And I'm starting to think it's a Rodgers thing, and him throwing the ball as much as he did against Baltimore was highly effective. So there's many ways to skin a cat, but I do think that they are a high-end or definitely a well above average running game. I mean, they're 5th in success rate, 5th in EPA. I mean, stuff I care about in the running game. So they're good at it, and it's probably the best they've been running the ball. But the biggest key is their run defense has been way better. I think their 3rd down defense has been way better
ever since that Bills game.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting off the field. It's not like they have a million turnovers, lately. I mean, it's a fair amount. I mean, but it's not inordinate. Like, boy, this is just a flash.
The defense is forcing 3 or 4 turnovers.
Yeah, which can be fluky, as we know. I mean, this is better. It's like you're more fundamentally sound. You're tackling better.
Agree.
Harmon's in there. We know what his splits are with the run game. So it's a multitude of things. But boy, part of me thinks they're lucky that they escaped with their lives for as bad as they were. Because the problem with losing time possession and that play differential thing so much, it almost always snowballs. Rarely does it go this direction and get better.
We saw it. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, you're talking in terms of an entire season.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like when we're in week 12 and you're last still, usually it doesn't turn around and get good at it all of a sudden. Usually,
you don't teach an old dog new tricks, right?
Yeah, usually the guys that have been on the field, Cam Hayward, Watt, Ramsey, they all get hurt and it gets worse, and you put worse guys out there and they get hurt, and because they're out there too much, But to turn it around, pretty impressive.
It's very impressive, and I think you have seen the proof in the pudding.
Massively.
I mean, Cam,
they're fresher late in the games, and right,
especially the guys in the trenches on that defensive side of the football, the Cam Haywards and the Keanu Bentons, and even guys like Patrick Queen. They just look fresher and more physical and
more out of them.
More energized in the fourth quarter, and that's been massive. That's been massive.
Yeah, it's definitely. I think it's real too. It's not like you played one team that just scored quick on you,
yes.
or It's a nice body of work against quality teams.
Matt, one thing that was almost a massive detriment to the Steelers on Sunday night. There would have been a lot that we would have discussed differently this week if that Tyler Loop 44-yard field goal is true, and the Ravens get to celebrate and get their hats and T-shirts at Acrisure Stadium. Throwing up a little bit in my mouth thinking about that.
Yeah, it's be horrible.
And you and I were eulogizing and putting a bow on this thing. I think one thing we would have really talked about, maybe not right away on Monday, but eventually, was how the Steelers struggled with field position. The Ravens really accelerated. Ravens were better in the punt game. Ravens got that big return at the end that set them up to be in position to kick that field goal. Both of these teams, on the whole, 17-game sample size now, excel in that department.
They do.
The Houston Texans defense starts with the league's best starting field position on average. The opponent's 27.5-yard line. That's really good.
Really good.
Steelers defense, not even a yard behind them.
Yeah,
Second best defense in the NFL at 28.3 average starting field position for the Steelers defense. Matt, that looms large for Monday night. Once again, we
don't think this is going to be a back-and-forth, super high-scoring game. Field position could be huge.
We saw it almost cost the Steelers Sunday night against the Ravens. You better be on your details. You better not let this be a detriment Monday night.
Now, something that's huge in terms of average starting field position is takeaways. I mean, if I turn you over at the 50-yard line, I get the ball at 50. I mean, that goes a long way because the Steelers, and I think they'll need to look at this in the offseason, their kickoff return team hasn't been particularly good this year.
No.
In a league where now all of a sudden with the second rule change of the dynamic kickoff, it's way more important, and I think that'll be a somewhat off-season goal. And getting Killebrew back and some of their core special teamers will help too. But they might want to get a true returner as opposed to your running backs that are fine at it, but they're not dynamic. You know what I mean? But a lot of that goes back to your original point of turnovers. And is this going to be a field position game? Houston's very good on special teams. I mean, if Boswell's a great kicker, we know that. I know that the last 3 weeks there's a couple balls that didn't go between the uprights, like always, but still, I have the extreme faith in him. There's not many kickers I'd trade him with.
Yes, if he's not the nailed-on elite number one in the NFL, he's still top five.
Third or something, right? Yeah. Like, he's fine. Don't worry. And I even tweeted something out about kickers today, too, about him, right, which Next Gen put out. And basically saying he's still awesome, guys. Don't worry.
He's still out kicking his expectations for the year.
A ton. Yes. Way over average. Yes. But some of it's weather-related. Their kicking game and Stroud definitely benefits from being Houston, Southern, not dealing with weather. Sure. Stroud's splits are much worse outside of dome. But they have the most field goals in the league. I mean, Fairbairn's been really, really good. And on special teams in general, they've been well above average. So that's in a really important phase in this game. Because, again, if it's a race to 20, because 20, they win, special teams is important.
Special teams is very important.
Yeah. You can't be missing kicks or.
Exactly right. And that's not just kicks and punts and field position, a big part of that equation as well. Finally, of course, everybody knows the Steelers have won 23 straight games at home on Monday Night Football. Mike Tomlin, 22 of those 23. The last one was Bill Cowher, and then Coach T has had the 22. Mike Tomlin is 22-3 in his career on Monday Night Football. All three of those.
It doesn't matter what building.
Yeah,
right.
That's nuts,
That's
too.
pretty nuts, too. To only lose 3 out of 25 on the road?
Yes, correct.
Road games?
And actually, I got that backwards. The 23 is not 22 Mike Tomlin because he's won some of those on the road.
Yeah.
The Steelers have won 23 straight at home on Monday Night Football. Mike Tomlin is 22-3 on Monday Night Football in general. All 3 of those losses coming on the road.
Tomlin's never lost at home.
Never lost at home on Monday Night Football.
That goes back to Noel. I said that I was a senior at Lebo whenever they lost at home last.
Yeah,
so.
I told you it was October of 91, the last time the Steelers lost at home on Monday Night Football. I was born in February of 91.
Right.
Well, young Wesley couldn't even walk yet. Houston, 0-6 on the road in the playoffs in franchise history.
Mm-hmm.
And we also know, obviously, the Steelers have lost 6 straight playoff games, I believe it is, in the last 8 years.
I think you're right. Yeah.
And so, Matt, something's got to give.
I say some streaks getting broken.
Some streaks getting broken.
A pretty impressive streak is getting broken. Yeah.
And that's why, man, there is a ton of fun storylines going into this one.
And this isn't as long a streak by any stretch, but I do think it's impressive that Stroud and their head coach
DeMeco Ryans
have been together now 3 years.
Won the division every year.
And they've gone to
made the playoffs
the divisional round every year. I mean, at a minimum, they've played next week.
They won the division the last 2 years, and then wild card this year.
I mean, people don't look at them like the Bills and Chiefs and Jags or even like the Bucks that win their division every year. But if they lose on Monday night, that's a bad year for that pair, which is pretty amazing. They're quality organization, man.
Never won a playoff game in franchise history that hasn't been played on a Saturday.
Yeah, that's crazy. I think every one of their playoff games has been the early 4:30 slot on Saturday, except for this one, because they're not a big draw.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly right. They
They
always get that home Saturday game when they win the division, and most of the time they've won it. They're like 6-2 in those games, and then they're like 0-6 when they have to go on the road.
And this goes back
next
to like
week.
Matt Schaub and J.J. Watt, and they always get that early spot.
But they are certainly a franchise that has been here plenty lately, much like the Steelers.
Right.
Looking to really kind of break through and get to another level, and yet a whole bunch of different streaks and records and numbers on the line Monday night. We'll get more and more into stats and matchups as we roll along today and tomorrow. But when we come back, we'll close down the first hour of the show with the Dean of Doom, the Lord of Living and His Fears, the great Steelers historian Bob Labriola. We've gone a couple weeks without talking to Labs due to these holidays being on Thursdays. We'll catch up with our buddy when we return on the other side. Wes Uhler, Matt Williamson. It is The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Back on The Drive here, closing down the first hour. We're going to audible at the line of scrimmage, much like Aaron Rodgers, right?
Make a move, right.
We're going to check into a different segment here. We're going to talk to Labs about 10 minutes from now.
Kenny, you want to go. Right, yeah.
Just run. Just out in the flat. Just run and go around. And then make a miraculous catch. So we'll talk to Labs here in just a few minutes. But with that, actually, good timing. We have the Steelers practice report from Thursday today, which, remember, is kind of like a normal Wednesday practice report.
We're a day behind or ahead or whatever.
This obviously means something, but it's not the end-all, be-all. It's not a typical Thursday.
It's the first one of the week.
It's the first one of the week. And mostly, much like we heard from Mike Tomlin on his Tuesday press conference, mostly good news. The only concerning thing, hey, boys, hey, TV, something's going wrong.
No.
Jalen Warren mispracticed with illness.
The flu.
Something's going around. Don't be touching any doorknobs, all right?
It's nice and warm out there today, though.
Don't be shit. It is. It's really nice.
Drink
out
your
there
fluids,
today.
Jalen. Stay away from everybody.
I washed my car before the show today.
Wow.
I was like, I got to get all this dirt and grime and everything off here.
My backup camera, I can't even see. Same
with me.
That's when you know it's bad.
Yeah, I was taking the girls to daycare this morning, and I couldn't even see on my backup cam. And I was like, it's going to be sunny this afternoon. I got a little bit of time. I might as well
you're
watch
old
this
enough,
thing.
but like my kids can't operate without a backup camera. Like they can't do this.
Really?
I mean, they're
I still do this.
I don't now, but I mean, I could get out of my driveway without a backup camera. I did for years.
Much I've told you this before, I was kind of right on that line of like not really growing up with a cell phone.
Yeah,
because I got one when I was like 16 or 17, but it was a little. I didn't have a smartphone until I was 21 years old and almost a senior in college. I never had the internet in my pocket. And my parents didn't get their first car with a backup cam until I was like 18 or 19.
Oh, and it was like a luxury, too.
So I had already
and I didn't even felt like I used it. I didn't trust it. Because I'd driven for so long before. I'm like, this thing's just going to smash me into a pole. I don't trust it.
And I think I was kind of raised by wolves in that regard. My mom had a massive Toyota minivan, and my dad had an SUV.
Okay.
So both my parents had so I had to learn how to do all the parallel parking and all that with no backup cam.
Yeah,
and it's not like my parents were driving a Honda Civic or like a car. Like they both had big boats that they drove, minivan and SUV. So I felt like, that was kind of my baptism by fire.
Yeah,
and
okay,
I was pretty good after that. But it is nice it's nice.
Oh,
having
you
a
get
backup cam.
super used to it, obviously.
Yes,
but it's funny, like with the generational things, like my kids have never looked over their shoulder. They just trust it, as they should.
Their idea of going somewhere new without GPS on their phone probably proper blows their minds.
Oh, man. I mean, big time.
I know I've told you this story before, but I look back on it. Me and my buddies one time went to a Pens Red Wings Stanley Cup game in Detroit, our senior year of high school. No GPS. Like we just got in the car and drove to Detroit.
We did that all the time.
Yeah,
right.
Like I couldn't imagine doing that now, like with no directions, no nothing. But when you're 17, it sounds like the best idea ever. Who cares?
I'm gonna throw one of my best buds under the bus, and he actually listens to the show a lot too. But he plays paddle tennis very competitively. He's
like
really
pickleball?
good. No,
or is
paddle
this
tennis, like with a cage around. It's. I'll tell you more about it. But he's one of the best in PA.
Okay, nice.
Even at our age, I mean, he's for his advanced age. He plays with a lot of people that are younger. It's getting super popular. His partner, I think, was like 15 years younger. It's probably like you and me.
Sure.
They were like the paddle tennis partners, and they traveled to like Cleveland for tournaments or Detroit for tournaments. Blah blah blah. It's probably 10 years ago. It's probably longer. He'll probably text me and be like, dude, it wasn't that long ago. Or it was longer than that. But his buddy, the young dude, comes and picks him up, and my man goes running out. I printed off directions. Kid just takes it and, like that was a thing. I mean, we did a lot of that. Oh, MapQuest was big, man. Right. Let alone my parents did they'd go to AAA and get the highlighter out on the map. We're going to Ohio. We better chart it out.
I remember doing that with my grandpa when we would take family vacations to like the Carolinas and Florida and stuff. Yeah. We'd have to go to AAA and get the atlas and plot it all out.
Everybody lays it out like, oh, you might want to get on 79 here and blah, blah,
Steelers Thursday injury report. Oh, those are good times from a different time. Like I said, pretty much good news except for it's that time of year. Something's going around. It's only Thursday. Jaylen Warren with an illness. Hopefully that's just go rest, abundance of precaution.
This is a good day to get sick, though.
It's a good day. It's a good day to miss one with illness if you're going to. Cam was given a limited practice rest day.
Perfect.
Other than that, everyone full participant. TJ, full participant with the lung. Christian Kuntz, full participant with the knee. Ben Skronik, full participant with the hand. Aaron Rodgers, full participant with that wrist. That's it. That's your injury report.
I mean, you'll take that all day long this time of year, let alone coming off a Ravens game.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Physical, knockdown, drag out, slugfest like that.
Yeah. Usually you have more bumps and bruises after the birdies.
Yes, and I have not seen anything yet from the Texans. They are different.
There's a couple I'm paying attention to.
They are different time zones, so they are a little behind us in that regard. So maybe we'll get something for them. But good news for the Steelers today. Only Jaylen Warren missed practice, and that was with an illness, not an injury. Hopefully just abundance of precaution, keep him away from everybody, give him an extra day to hydrate and rest up and all those things. And full speed ahead for a big one on Monday night. We're going to say goodbye to the first hour, start the second hour. We'll have Bob Labriola when we return for hour number 2. We're also going to rank all the defenses across Wild Card Weekend in the National Football League.
I sent you O-line ranks, too.
I love it.
We got that.
You can do that tomorrow? You want to do that tomorrow?
Just run through. Brandon Thorne put out his O-line ranks for the playoff teams.
Love me some Brandon Thorne. I also have some DK Metcalf. Holy cow, has this guy been impressive in the playoffs and his career numbers that I want to run by Matt.
Yep.
We've got college football playoff thoughts to give before tonight, a whole bunch to get to in hour number 2. So stay with us on your 24/7 home of the black and gold. It's Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Good evening, Steeler Nation. How we doing? Well, that's good. Us too. It is hour number 2 of the drive here on Steelers Nation Radio. And to the phone lines we go to talk to Bob Labriola, of course, the Dean of Doom, the Lord of Living in His Fears, Steelers historian, all-around swell guy. Labs, thanks for taking the time as always. We've missed you these last couple weeks with some holidays getting in the way of our Thursday conversations, but good to have you back into the fold here, obviously at a very exciting time. Labs, you have, I think, a better scope of Steelers history than just about anybody doing this. And so I wanted to ask you about that win over the Ravens Sunday night. I've been saying, that's time capsule, instant classic stuff. That's kind of what Matt and I have been saying all week. Is that too much, for an organization that has 6 Super Bowls and so much history? Does a regular season game belong in the time capsule? Even one, that feels as special as that? Is that going too far, or is that fair to say with what you witnessed on Sunday evening?
And Labs, I was down at the facility today, and there was a bunch of people saying they thought that was the second best Ravens-Steeler game ever. I was like, wow.
Well, I was gonna put it up there. First of all, the best Ravens-Steelers game ever was the 2008 AFC Championship game.
Yeah, agreed.
For the stakes and also for the violent nature of the game. I mean, It was a lot of hard hitting. I believe to this day that was the impetus for the NFL's player safety initiative.
You've said that before, and it's resonated with me. I think you're right. Yeah.
Just the way it ended. I mean, Willis McGahee laid out like that. It's a clean hit. It was legal. I just think that the league watched at it. They didn't act on it immediately, but I think that that was a game that certainly the national media in attendance. It was just the fact that it was for a spot in the Super Bowl. It was very well attended, very watched over and over and over again, and I just think that that's what became of it in that way. I would rate Sunday night's game as the second most significant missed field goal in Steelers franchise history. The first being Vanderjagt in the 2005 divisional round. And I would put, because the last Sunday night Steelers-Ravens game was winner take all, there have been Steelers-Ravens games late in the season where, the winner could, like, for example, the Christmas Day game, the Immaculate Extension, Antonio Brown.
Yes.
The Steelers won that game. They clinched the division, and they also eliminated the Ravens. Now, what's different about last Sunday night to me is if the Steelers didn't win that Christmas Day game, they weren't eliminated.
Yeah.
So this, the winner take all aspect of it, I think, puts it, up there really high on the list in that series. You had those three big plays in the fourth quarter. The missed field goal, that all set up by a protection issue on an extra point that, made it a win or lose kick by Tyler Loop. So yeah, I'm putting it up there. I would say after the 2008 AFC Championship game, in terms of significance, last Sunday night was number 2.
I get it. Do you have any theory on this ridiculous streak on Monday nights? I mean, both Tomlin, home or road, and I do believe he's a better coach than most when given extra rest. So I think there's something for that. But, Labs, the last time they lost at home on Monday night, I was a senior in high school. That can't be a fluke.
No, it can't be because you look at some of the statistics. The Steelers, their winning percentage at home all time on Monday Night Football, starting in 1970 which is when it began, is the best of any team in the NFL history with at least 25 appearances.
Yeah, and they don't schedule bad teams for Monday night opponents.
Usually they do not.
Especially back in the day. Yeah, right.
Right. Sometimes it ends up that way, because of the schedule comes out in May, and a lot of times these games aren't played until, late November or December, and one team or another doesn't live up to expectations. But no, certainly when Monday Night Football began, that was a showcase game. And being on that, in that time slot was considered
kind of an honor,
validation of your program, so to speak. So, no, I can't explain it, but it's been going on too long for it to be some kind of anomaly or fluke. 1970 is 55 years. So, Yeah, it's not.
It's pretty
not
crazy,
luck.
yeah.
Yes, it is.
And I know that our fan base here in Pittsburgh is tremendous, but I don't know that it's that great. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, yeah, they, noise is only, a certain part of an NFL game. I mean, these, especially as this has evolved,
couple extra irons in the parking lot
and all that
doesn't
kind
make
of
that
stuff.
big a difference.
Yeah,
You're right.
You can get around it. So, I just hope it continues one more time.
Yeah.
Labs, I feel like we've been saying all season that, Cam Hayward and aging like a fine wine. I'm getting to the point, though, where I'm ready to reverse that and start saying that fine wine ages like Cam Hayward. I mean, my goodness, best player on the field for Matt and I's money on Sunday night. He's played more snaps than any interior defensive lineman in the National Football League. He has just been a force. He's played at an all-pro level this year. And, man, it really feels like with Cam as the spearhead, that defensive front for the Steelers is hitting their stride at the right time. They've finally gotten some reprieve in the time of possession game that has gone the Steelers' way the last month and a half. I'm feeling really good about the Steelers in both sides of the trenches, I think, but particularly on defense and mostly because of the current form of the captain, Cam Hayward.
Yeah, and Cam is certainly leading the way, both physically in terms of his on-the-field performance, and I got to believe what he's doing in the locker room, in practice, showing the younger guys the way. It's invaluable. It's invaluable. And I also think, one of the things leading into that Ravens game was a lot of talk about Derrick Henry and how the Ravens had been running the ball on the Steelers lately in the past 3 or 4 games, whatever it was, averaging over 200 yards a game rushing. But I took a couple of minutes and went back and looked at who was actually on the field for the Steelers in those games, and instead of Derek Harmon and Y.A. Black, all due respect, it was Isaiah Loudermilk, and Larry Ogunjobi, who was at the end. And I really think that, a lot of times we kind of focus often on the inside linebackers and that kind of area of the field in terms of stopping the run. But the defensive linemen need to be winning their one-on-one matchups on the line of scrimmage. I mean, they cannot be getting moved around. If they are, that creates creases that allows, Derrick Henry or whoever the running back is to get into the second level of your defense often untouched or unchallenged. And so the way that the defensive line has been playing, I think, has been really critical in lately, the run defense. And I understand that Derek Harmon gets a lot of the credit, and statistically, that there are statistics that back that up. When he's on the field, opponents rush for X amount of yards per carry. When he's not, it's Y. And so, there is that factual evidence there to back it up. But, Y.A. Black is a part of it as well. And, yes, Cam Hayward is leading the way. The first play of that game against the Ravens, he was all the way down the field. He got injured on that play.
Right.
Was it 30 yards down the field chasing Derrick Henry? First of all, defensive linemen aren't supposed to be doing that or able to do that far down the field and be there in the action that far down the field. And the second thing, as Mike Tomlin once described veteran players, they have a contusion on their birth certificate. A guy like of Cam's age doing that kind of stuff is even more remarkable. So just starting the game that way, while that play was a little bit of a, oh my God, what's going to happen? If you looked at it in another way, it was kind of a forecast of what kind of effort you were going to get from your defensive captain.
So speaking of lines and big people, are you in agreement that this is the most comfortable, confident you've been all year in the Steelers' offensive line?
They're playing pretty well.
Yeah.
I do really like how they have incorporated the jumbo package into this. Spencer Anderson is a big part of this.
Yeah.
And it really, the offensive line, I think we have to include him in that group, even though he's an quote-unquote extra offensive lineman. And how Darnell Washington's role evolved over the course of the season as well. He, of course, now is on IR. I think that this group has improved throughout the season. Dylan Cook has been a revelation.
Yeah.
I don't know that this is, if this is just a snippet and he's playing really well, he's in a zone, or is this the start of a guy making a march to a Pro Bowl berth? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
We'll find that out over the course of time. But Fautanu has played well. He is getting better. Mason McCormick, there were some times where, in my untrained eye, I had some questions about, is he going to become what he needs to be? And I think the answer is yes at this point. He has verified, well, certainly as a sixth-round pick. It's not like, he came in with a lot of expectations, but certainly the guy is playing to the level of starting caliber right guard in the NFL. Sam Malu coming back is huge. Zach Frazier, I think, has been continuing to develop. So, yeah.
And the sum of the parts seems to be working together, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
The passing off of, one guy in terms of pass rushers or run blockers, guys started on a double team and then one goes to the next level. Yeah, I think that I don't know, rhythm or whatever it's called, where guys need to have a feel for the player next to them or the player who is helping them through the first level of the defense and then before going on to the second level. I think they have a good feel for each other. And yeah, there's a lot of things that are working well right now. Let's not forget the quarterback. I mean, I beat this drum every time I'm on with you guys. Mm-hmm. Aaron Rodgers has just been another game with no turnovers. No turnovers. And that fourth quarter, those drives that he put together. And then that the play to Calvin Austin, the way Rodgers explained that, he had trips on the right. Calvin Austin was singled on the left. And he said after the game, I was initially looking, into the bunch for where I was going to go. He said, and then I just kind of caught out of my other eye, that the defensive back slipped. Bingo. He goes right to him. Mm-hmm. Perfect pass, touchdown. And, that's the kind of stuff that, that's not necessarily called that way. I mean, whatever the route combination is, a guy like Rodgers gets to pick where he's going with the ball, and maybe he saw something in the coverage that indicated to him that there was going to be something open coming out of that three-bunch formation. But, he doesn't give up on anything. I mean, he's open to anything. He sees it instantly and delivers the ball on time and accurately. And that's quarterback play that the Steelers haven't had for a long time. So, and this is the time of year when those kind of plays, not only the good plays, but the bad ones.
Yeah.
We can talk a little bit about.
Not many negative plays on this offense overall, run or pass,
right.
And that's him at the line of scrimmage and decision making and all those things too.
Right. And if you go back and look at, some of the previous 5 playoff games or whatever it was, the Steelers lost them all. And what was it, 63-0? They were outscored in the first quarter, whatever stat that is. And I'm sure that that's an accurate number. But go back into those and count the turnovers.
Yeah. That was actually my last question for you, and you kind of answered it, is this playoff game feels a lot different than walking into that buzzsaw in Baltimore or going to face Allen in the snow or Mahomes at Kansas City. And so much of it's because of Rodgers, is how it feels. I don't know how it'll turn out, but
Right, because you're not going in at a deficit in the matchup at that position. All due respect to Mason Rudolph going to Buffalo, it's Mason Rudolph against Josh Allen. We're going to Kansas City, and it's whoever against Mahomes.
Yeah.
You got whoever it is. There's no such. He is outstanding in cold. Rodgers, I mean, and there's nobody who has. His seasoning at Lambeau Field makes him good in the cold, snow, whatever kind of inclement you want to come up with. And
Monday night's going to feel like the equator to him.
Right. The guy's unflappable.
Yeah.
He is. And beyond how that calm and coolness impacts his play, I can only imagine the impact it has in the huddle with those other guys.
Yeah.
Well said, as always, by the great Bob Labriola, Steelers historian, Dean of Doom, Lord of Living in His Fears, and a treasured guest here on The Drive every single week. Labs, thank you so much for the time, and we will see you on Monday night.
All right, fellas, take care.
There he goes. You asked me, Matt, I can't remember if it was yesterday or Tuesday or whenever it was. You asked me earlier this week.
Yeah.
Do I think in 50 years from now, like every stadium in the NFL will have a dome or a retractable roof or something? And I said yes.
Yeah.
31 of 32 will, unless there's more. There's probably going to be 36 or 38 NFL teams 50 years from now. But everybody except for Lambeau Field in Green Bay.
And they're the ones that probably should have it most. You're right, yeah.
Because as long as they don't have an owner, as long as they're owned by the fan base, they're
not going to vote for it.
They never voting for that. No chance. No chance.
And they're the ones freezing the stands.
Exactly right. They'll be the last of the dying breed for a long time. But great stuff by Labs. Great points there at the end. Let's take a break here. When we return on the other side, let's talk a little bit about the playoff picture and the defenses of all 14 of these teams across the National Football League. We'll do that when we return. Uhler, Williamson, The Drive, Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. It's all happening here on a Thursday on The Drive. 2 more segments to go. Still plenty to get to. Matt, another one of these kind of global heading into the postseason NFL discussions.
Yeah.
That you and I wanted to have this week.
I want to see what the Steelers stack up on these two,
Ranking we did this yesterday for those who might have missed it. If you did catch it, you'll pick up what we're putting down here to do this one today. But yesterday we ranked the top 14 quarterbacks, well, all 14 quarterbacks in the NFL playoffs. We did 7 for the AFC, 7 for the NFC, and then kind of combined them in terms of how we power ranked them and who we think is the best and who you would most want leading your team here into the postseason. You had the good idea. Let's do this for defenses, too. I think we're going to do it for offensive lines tomorrow. It's a good kind of global conversation to set the stage for the NFL postseason here. Matt, I got to tell you, this was a lot more difficult than I thought it was. This ranking of
I haven't
of defenses.
I like doing them organically.
Okay.
So I didn't give it a lot of thought except for the top and the bottom.
Here's who I got at the top. Here's who I got at the bottom. Sure.
Now, I think there's 3 teams fighting for the top spot.
Okay.
One of which Steelers play this week, unfortunately.
I agree. Yes.
And I also think the worst defenses of the 14 are in the NFC, unfortunately. You want to go 7 and 7 again, or do you want to go 1 to 14?
So I did 1 to 14, but I can easily. I kind
of like the 7 and 7 thing.
I can
but
easily
I don't care.
bust it up here and go 7 and 7 if you want me to. That's no problem.
Okay. A
little 7 and 7 action. Where you want to start? NFC or AFC?
Me. I don't care. No, let's start with the NFC. I don't care.
Let's start with the NFC. So in the NFC, then I have 1 Seattle.
I agree slightly. Well, I agree totally, but barely.
2 Philly.
Yeah, exactly. Because they're 2 of the 3 elite ones to me. And thus, Houston will be number 1.
Houston's my number 1 overall, and they were 2 and 3 overall.
Okay, yeah.
So for NFC purposes.
Then I don't know who 4 is off the top of my head. But I mean,
Seattle, Philly 1 and 2. But you're talking global picture, too.
Yes.
Yeah, agreed. But let's stick in the NFC here. Seattle 1, Philly 2, Rams 3.
Okay.
Packers 4, Bears 5, Niners 6, Panthers 7.
Okay, so how I would we might just agree right off the bat now I think about it because there's only 7 teams. There's 2 that stand alone to me. The Rams are obviously next to me.
I think so.
They're not as good as the top 3 in the league, but
I think they're kind of a tier 2 by
next.
themselves.
They've had a rough couple weeks. This isn't the best time to talk, glowingly about the Rams D. But what I was saying about the bad Ds, I really think San Francisco is holding on by a thread in terms of backups. Them and Carolina are both pretty bad.
In my mind, I was like, am I putting the Niners ahead of the Panthers just because the Niners are a better team than the Panthers, not specifically the defense? Because you're right. All credit to Robert Saleh in the world.
Oh, for even keeping them alive.
But they lost their 2 best players, and they've
playing
been
rookies galore.
5 rookies, 4, 5, 6 rookies starting every single week.
Right. I would put them 7.
I don't.
But these are
that.
the worst 2 in the playoffs for sure.
The first thing that I did when I made this list was I put Houston 1, and then I put the Niners and the Panthers down at the bottom.
Yeah, that's how
when I
do
was doing the
too.
overall 1 through 14.
Gotcha. So NFC, I agree. I mean, and we could fight Panthers versus Niners, Niners versus Panthers.
Sure,
I would put
Packers,
the Niners
Bears.
7. And then Packers, Bears are also.
Bears are a tough one to rank for me.
Yes.
Because they give up a ton of points, ton of yards.
But they take the ball away.
But they take the ball away a lot.
Which is why I think I'd put them over the Packers.
Okay. The Packers
minus
especially are
Parsons
tough because
yeah.
they're beat up. The Bears are just such a feast or famine defense for me. They're tough to rank in that regard.
They're also getting one of their best players back, Kyler Gordon, who people don't know who he is, but he's a great slot glue guy that is really helpful. Green Bay's not getting anybody really back.
No.
And they lost Parsons and,
Kind of hang
so
on by
that
a thread.
7's pretty easy for me. I think the AFC is going to be way harder.
Agreed. Houston 1,
Yeah.
Denver 2.
Yeah, I think that's fair at this point, too. They're probably 4th
I was like, am I
overall.
overthinking this? Just because the Broncos' defense has fallen off a little bit
Right.
the past few weeks, they're still really stinking good.
They are really good.
Houston 1, Denver 2, Jacksonville 3,
I'm on board with that, too.
Pittsburgh 4.
I think Jacksonville's is way underrated.
Same.
They are not.
Josh
playing.
Hines Allen has been unreal since
Their
about
run
Thanksgiving.
defense is really good.
Oh.
A name no one ever talks about is Devin Lloyd, the
I
off-the-ball
love him.
linebacker. He's one of the best in the league.
And when he was coming out of Utah, I
Yes.
think I drove Moats crazy with how much I talked about
Really?
him leading up to the draft.
He is key for them. He is a really, really good
He's
player.
out. I loved him coming out of Utah.
Okay.
And I got a soft spot for those.
So
those
if we
Big
agree
12
on those,
brethren.
top 4? Or where we at? We were Houston.
Denver,
Denver,
Jags, Steelers.
Let's talk it over the. I think we agree. We definitely agree on the top 3.
Yes.
So Steelers versus.
I had Bills, then Chargers,
Ooh, I'm down on the Bills.
then Patriots.
Bills are last for me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm doing a little too recency bias here because we just talked about this yesterday. The Patriots' red zone defense really scares me.
Yeah, it does. And they have some injuries too. I don't know, like Milton Williams, is he coming back? And
this typically drives me nuts. But
yes.
I kind of held this against the Bears a little bit too. I normally hate it when people are like, yeah, but the Bears didn't play anybody. Yeah, but the Patriots didn't play anybody. It's, as I always tell you, it's not Ohio State against Akron. Okay, this is the National Football League.
Yeah.
But man, compared to a lot of these teams, did the Patriots have a pretty easy schedule?
I used that against May a little bit the other day too.
And their scoring defense is really good in New England.
Yes.
Which is kind of, hey, if you've got a great scoring defense, does anything else matter? But I don't know. I'm a little worried it might catch up to them. They also gave up a ton of total touchdowns, did the Patriots, like way more than any of these other defenses.
As you mentioned, the red zone stuff's real bad.
And the red zone stuff is real bad, which I think in the playoffs is those margins, that minutia shrinks and shrinks and shrinks.
Oh, of course. So they're definitely the bottom 2. I prefer the Patriots to the Bills.
Okay.
My problem with the Bills is their run defense is bad, and it has been all year.
And this is not a good time of year
no,
for that
and it's
to be
terrible.
an issue.
I mean, they're fortunate that they're such a good running team that they don't get killed in time of possession because they are good at it, as equal as they are bad at defending the run. The other thing with the Bills, who's the difference makers? Like
that's a great point.
Like their
There are
brand
none.
name guys are all past their prime. The Bosas and Whites and Milanos and those dudes. Like,
Yes.
who scares you on that defense?
I'm
Very few.
Way with you on that.
Like, I like Rousseau, but, I mean, he's not Myles Garrett. He's not TJ. I mean, he's a good player. So I just don't see difference makers, closers on that side of the ball. Like, Bills in general have some issues. That Allen masks quite a bit. So that leaves us, if those two are the bottom.
Chargers then.
Is it Chargers and Steelers fighting for 4 and 5?
Yes.
I would take Steelers over Chargers.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
I think so, too.
Especially because of recently.
That's what I was just going to say as well.
Yeah.
It feels like, not that the Chargers defense has been terrible, but it feels like the Steelers is really rounded into form.
If this was when the Steelers played the Chargers, I probably would have taken the Chargers. But at this point, I think the Steelers D is, I'm on board.
Yes,
Okay.
I am with you. Do you want to do the 1 through 14 real quick?
Sure.
Overall total? Here's what I had. Starting from the top. Houston, Seattle, Eagles, Broncos. That was my top 4.
I agree with that.
Jags, Steelers, 5 and 6. Rams, 7.
Probably the Chargers next.
Then I had
me.
Chargers next, yes. Packers, Bills, Patriots, Bears, Niners, Panthers.
Where I'm unsure is
I think I'd flip the Niners and the Panthers as I'm doing this.
I think Niners are last.
Out loud,
Yeah. And
I think I
agree
just
with,
automatically put Carolina at 14
because they're just last at
Carolina.
everything.
Yes,
Yeah, we put Bryce Young at 14. We'll put their O-line at 14. But
If we were
right
ranking
there.
all the teams 1 through 14, they'd
They're
be 14.
Right. The only thing I'd fight you on is I'm not sure if Packers, Bears versus Bills, Patriots. Like they were right next to each other in the NFC. The NFC clear is the worst 2. But then who's the next worst? The worst 4 might be in the NFC.
They might be.
I mean, Bears and Packers have a case to be 13-14.
They do.
They were a strong case.
They do. And I put the Bears at 12.
The
Like I
takeaway
said,
stuff's nice.
They're a tough one because when they turn the ball over, they were a real good defense. When they're taking the ball away, I should say, they're a real good defense. But we all know that's streaky. That's hot and cold. Especially in the playoffs where teams are more, ball security than ever before.
Right, and you're not playing. I know you just said this Ohio State reference, but if you're playing the Raiders and you lose a turnover battle, you can still win. But this is these games are gonna be tight. Right.
Exactly right. So there we go. There's our defensive rankings. It was I enjoyed doing this. We'll do it with the offensive lines tomorrow.
Yeah, we agreed more than I thought.
Yeah.
Jacksonville's the one people might be like, really? I'm like, yes.
That's the one I thought I would get pushback on, but then I was like, no, Matt knows his crap. Matt knows how good they've been.
They've been
last.
really solid, fundamentally sound. Yeah, they tackle well. They don't make a lot of mistakes. Yeah.
If Josh Hines Allen had been playing the way all year that he's played since Thanksgiving, he would be top 3 in defense. He wouldn't have won it over Myles Garrett, but he'd be right there in the conversation.
I mean, the thing that hurts him is there's so many good premium edge guys.
Oh my gosh, there's so
and he
many.
doesn't play in the biggest market for it. He's not as big a name as those guys, but he's a tier 1 edge player.
Yes.
He's not far off the Max Crosbys of the world.
If we were to take all the edge players that have leveled up this year, he'd probably be at the top of that list.
Exactly.
The ones that weren't in tier 1 already heading into this year.
Yeah.
Speaking of tier 1, Matt, before we go to break here and close with some other stats and numbers and some college football playoff thoughts, DK Metcalf, man, is one of the greatest wide receivers in NFL history in the wild card round.
Yeah.
Good time to be having this guy back. DK Metcalf has 5 career reception touchdowns in the wild card round. Since the wild card round became a thing in 1978, that's second most in the National Football League in the history of this thing, behind only Ernest Givens, who played for Houston way back when. He averages over 100 yards a game, over a touchdown per game. This is in 4 games for him. He's got 5 touchdowns and over 400 yards. This is a really good time to be getting DK Metcalf back. His playoff resume is outstanding. His playoff numbers are very impressive.
Yeah, I heard it phrased differently than the way you did, and it wasn't just wild card.
It was probably
round.
better than the better way you heard it.
Yeah, this was straight from the
jabroni over here.
The stats that get sent to us from the NFL, from the league that Labs for us is of any wide receiver in NFL history that has played 4 or more playoff games, he averages the most yards per game.
Okay.
It's like 112 or
112.8. So pretty much 113.
Yeah. I mean, it's only 4 games, but still, they weren't just picking one guy that played one game and blew up. I mean, there's some guys that have had great playoff careers. Rice, Larry had a huge run there, but he averages the most receiving yards of any receiver in playoff history.
Yes, he does. 4 games played, 451 yards, an average reception of 17.3 yards per catch.
Wow.
5 touchdowns in 4 games, 16 catches for first downs in 4 games.
Wow, okay. So there's not just a big play here and there, too. He's moving the chains. That was one thing I was wondering. I was like, I didn't go look at the games. Did he have one that he just went nuts on, and then the other ones he was fine? But that first down
pretty
number,
consistently.
Yeah, that first down number implies he didn't just hit an 80-yarder in 2 games out of luck because somebody fell down. You know what I mean?
Yes. I'm trying to get the per game, if I can find it here, because it lumps his first season in where Seattle played 2 playoff games as one here.
Oh,
on
I see
this.
what you're saying. Okay. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's still his averages for his playoff games 109, 96, 136. Okay, so he's been good every time he's been in the playoffs.
He is.
And he's going to have a little chip on the shoulder, I have a feeling.
He's going to have a little chip on his shoulder now. He's going to have a tough matchup. There's no doubt about
he's
that.
He's going to have a tough matchup.
When we do 5-Star Friday tomorrow, we'll talk about that more specifically. He's going to have a tough matchup. Joey Porter Jr. is going to have a tough matchup with Nico Collins. There's some real good on good in this game as it relates to wide receivers and defensive backs.
There really is, yeah.
Which I'm very excited about.
No, which is fun, yeah.
That's kind of one of the games.
They're going to need him.
That's kind of one of the games within the games to keep an eye on in this one. But yeah, DK has been outstanding in the postseason. He should be a little, like you said, chip on his shoulder. And I think a little rest might do him. I think a little rest does any NFL player good.
We were talking about this when I was down at the facility earlier. That I guess somebody interviewed him, and he said something like, "I hated being out, but it was good for my legs," and especially, like that. It's kind of like when Rodgers had the hand. It's like, I bet his knees said thanks.
DK's 28 years old. He's not pushing 40. Still, it doesn't matter.
Long season, right?
It is a long season. These guys now play an extra regular season game, and I know practice and all those things in training camp have been ramped down, but still, I think
it still beats the crap out of
you. It beats the crap out of you. And let's remember too, earliest bye week possible, all the way back in early October. The Steelers
physical brand of football for him,
brand of football for him and for this team. The Steelers surrendered a home game to fly 3,000 miles away and play one in Ireland. They also took a trip across the coast to the Chargers, so they did the 2 furthest trips that they could have possibly taken this year, to Europe and to the West Coast.
Yeah, that's a good point, too.
Early bye week. I mean, physical type player. I'm expecting DK Metcalf to be shot out of a cannon Monday night, and I think considering his history, I think that's a fair expectation to have. No,
and that's what you traded for him, and that's why you gave him a big contract, and frankly, he kind of owes the team a little bit right now,
There might not be anybody happier in the Steelers organization that they took that when Tyler Luke missed that field goal than DK Metcalf.
All right, guys, we had that all along, right? Yeah.
We talked about the revisionist history of the things we would have been talking about, field position and some other. Man, that DK,
10 years from now, we probably won't be talking about his suspension.
No.
You're right, but we would have.
Oh, my gosh. It would have gone down in infamy.
Boy, that Metcalf had a great career here, but remember in 2025 when he got suspended?
Now it's a tiny little footnote of oh, yeah, he did get suspended that one time. Well, it was fine. We still beat the Ravens.
Got over it.
You got him back for the playoffs when it really mattered. Oh, man, and it does really matter on Monday night. We will cross some T's, dot some I's when we return on the other side. Wrap up some of the conversation of today and some of the news of today. We also have to give some thoughts on the college football playoff game tonight.
Oh, yeah.
And a couple quarterbacks and a couple players to keep an eye on. For both of these teams, Miami and Ole Miss
tonight.
Quarterbacks
are kind of intriguing. I mean, tomorrow's are more, but tonight's are intriguing.
They sure are. Our buddy Max Starks will not be on the call for this one tonight, but he will be there.
Is he?
Out in Glendale, Arizona, and his neck of the woods. And I actually didn't know this about Max. He serves on the Fiesta Bowl committee.
Oh, really? He does so many things, by the way.
It's incredible. I mean, his resume of all the stuff that he does is wild. Not calling the game because basically just the way the scheduling lines up with ESPN radio. Like, Max is on their second crew, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because he can't be on their first crew because of his Steelers obligations.
Steelers stuff, right.
And so once they get to the semifinals, the second crew is done, and it's only the first.
They knock these two out and then the final.
Basically,
okay.
Yeah. But since
his season's over from
his season's over from terms of calling college football games, but this game, I think is 20, 30 minutes from where he lives, not far. And he is actually, Max serves on the Fiesta Bowl committee. I found this out 2 years ago.
Cool.
So he will be there in attendance tonight between Miami and Ole Miss. We'll give some thoughts on that, some thoughts on some NFL prospects to watch as we wrap this thing up on the other side. Wes Uhler, Matt Williamson, it is The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Final segment here on The Drive. Tonight, kicking off a great 5-day stretch of playoff games, semifinals in college football, wild card weekend in the National Football League. Before we get to that, Matt, we did have a tweet from earlier. We talked about the Dolphins and some of the advantages of the professional sports franchises who play in Florida without state income tax. Mike tweets us and says, along the lines of Miami and the job advantage with no state income tax, do coaches pay state tax on their game checks when games are played out of state in an away game that has income tax? I'm not sure how that works, honestly. I don't know.
I'm not sure on that either, but what I learned from Max, coincidentally, we were just talking about him, that I didn't realize players
have to file taxes in all those different...
Every state they played in, they have to file I think it's the same as like Bruce Springsteen if he tours.
Correct.
Because they're entertainment
Taylor
people.
Swift has to file taxes in all these different places. And
every state that
Europe
she
and Asia
in.
and South America and all these places she performs.
But like Max says, sometimes it's a nightmare because sometimes it's like...
Nightmare.
It's like $5 and they bug you for 3 years about it or whatever. Or, your accountant screws it up just a little. Like, it's one of the things I'm sure every agent or agency does.
It's also a big part of the reason I found this out when we were boots on the ground in Dublin back at the end of September. It's a big reason why the NFL teams always leave later than the fan base and their own players expect for these international games.
Right.
Because the longer you're there to quote unquote do business, the higher and higher the tax rate goes up.
Like if TJ Watt's your highest paid dude, it might cost him an extra $500,000 to go to Ireland.
If you go to Ireland on Monday instead of Friday or Tuesday instead of Friday, that tax rate for TJ goes through the roof, and he's paying an extra $300,000 on his game check to the Irish Republic.
Which is all relative too, because if you're Dylan Cook and you're only making $1 million, I don't got $500,000 to throw around either.
Right.
But still, it's an extra $50,000 that I don't have.
But it's funny you mentioned Max. Like I said to Max, like leading up to, I was like, Max, am I gonna have to file taxes in Ireland this year? Because like he's like, no, you don't make that much. They're not coming for you, buddy. Don't worry.
Yeah. But I don't think coaches have the same.
That's a great question. I don't know. I'll also tell you this though. I do think that gets a little blown out of proportion. Here's why.
The entertainment tax thing.
And the no state income tax.
Thing,
Here's why, Matt. Maybe I'm more cynical than you, but I think we can agree on this. They're gonna find a way to get your money.
Oh yeah.
What the United States government at a federal and local level is going to find a way to get your money. If it's not in your income tax, you're going to pay 10 times as much in property taxes. Your sales tax is going to be higher. Believe me, it's not like those guys are just making millions and millions extra with no other area. Their property taxes are way more expensive. All these school taxes way more expensive. The government is getting your money somehow. It's not just like, hey, you can go to Florida and keep all. They're still getting it from you somehow.
That's actually that leads me to 2 points on that conversation, because at the break we were talking about Dylan Cook with Labs, and I'm like, I think he's under contract next year. Let's look real quick. Yes, he is for
one more year, right?
Yeah, which is awesome, by the way.
Awesome.
It's a little over $1 million a year, which is the biggest bargain ever, even if he's not the starter.
Totally. But anyway, even for a quality backup, that's a great bargain.
But just from a tax perspective, everyone knows what you make too. Like no one knows exactly what I make or you make, but I can go to Spot Track and tell you what Aaron Rodgers makes. Like here's your salary, dude.
Correct.
It's out there.
Correct.
And not to mention, I've told the story before too, but like cost of living in some of these places is way different than the cost of living in Pittsburgh or Green Bay. Like I'm sure there's places in Florida that are really pricey to live, or let alone California. Like that stint that I was in college football for a living, Walt Harris, our head coach, got the Stanford job, right after I'd left.
Yes.
And he loved his staff, and he invited them all to come out to Stanford with him. But like our running back coach or tight end coach was like, Coach, I'm losing money to go there, even though I'm getting a raise.
Totally.
It's a great offer.
Remember Brock Purdy talking about how like he struggles to pay his rent in San.
He's the cheapest guy out there.
And people were like, yeah, okay. And like, no, he's making $400K a year as the last pick in the draft.
And I'm trying to live near the facility, and a hamburger's $50 or whatever.
Right, and the cheapest place in rent that I can find is $3,000, $4,000 a month.
Yeah.
And that's for like a one-bedroom apartment.
Somehow I had to get back and forth to the facility. And like along those lines. And when we took the Akron job, we hired the respective offense and defensive coordinators from Duke and North Carolina who had just gotten fired. And we're like, come.
That money goes a lot further in Akron than it does in Chapel Hill, baby.
Their kids and wives were like, we just bought mansions in Akron after the house we sold. Yeah, right. Like, that's not a bad gig.
Matt, I once in another lifetime interviewed for a hockey broadcasting gig in Anchorage, Alaska.
Oh, wow. Bet it goes a long way.
At the time, I was working for a hockey team in Ohio.
Yeah.
Making $24,000 a year.
Yeah, I'm sure.
This job in Anchorage, Alaska was offering $75,000 a year and a company car.
Which is probably like $175.
I was like, that's a lot of money in Alaska, man.
Yeah.
Plus a company car. And I
as
think
long as you can like find food.
Might have been a team apartment included in it. But it's like, you got to live in Alaska in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, that money goes a long way and everything. But you got to.
But I don't think there's like Pizza Hut next door to you. I mean, as long as you don't have to like club seals to survive or anything.
Dark 18 hours a day out there. But yes, I once interviewed for a hockey broadcasting gig in Alaska back in a different lifetime. Might have taken the job if they offered it to me too. Matt, we got
this single dude put that money away for 2 years. You're right. That's not bad.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And it would have been a lot of fun for like your parents and your family to come visit you out there.
Plus you skate and play hockey. There's a lot of ice up there.
A little bit. I've never been, but I imagine there's a decent amount of ice up there.
I bet that's not
in
a
Alaska.
problem to find. Find a game on the pond.
I bet you could play pond hockey about 6 months a year. Tonight, Matt, 7:30 ESPN, Miami, Ole Miss, the Fiesta Bowl, college football semifinal. Winner goes to the Natty to face the winner of Oregon, Indiana, which will be tomorrow. Miami, a 3-point favorite. It really is starting to feel like Miami's destined to make the college football playoff. I mean, they win that rock fight.
Their style of play seems to fit, too.
They win that rock fight against A&M on the road, and then they take down a juggernaut and the defending national champions in Ohio State. But, man, Ole Miss, they've got some of that, like, Cinderella stuff going on, too. You know, lost their coach, a lot of their coaching staff.
Yeah, they got some mojo,
and they've won 2 playoff games. Here they are all of a sudden. I think Miami gets it done. But, man, Ole Miss is really talented. And between Trinidad Chambliss, who we've talked about, Lacey, their running back, who's maybe the best in the country, it's going to be a good one tonight. I'm really looking forward to it.
Lacey's not draft eligible, I don't think.
He is not, no.
Okay.
And he's one of the ones that's rumored that as soon as this is done, he's going to he's got to be in college for at least one more year. He's going to hit the portal and go to LSU and make a bunch of money or go to one of these places, but we'll wait and see. Keep an eye on both of the defensive ends for the Hurricanes.
They're phenomenal, yeah.
Ruben Bain, who might be the first defensive player drafted. Akeem Messidor,
he's been really, really good lately,
who started as a Mountaineer before Miami.
I think he's a little older. I think he's 24.
He's a 5th or 6th year guy, yeah. Started as a true freshman at WVU for 2 years, really good, and then, took a bag to go to South Beach. Both of those guys. Well, Bain will be a first-round pick, maybe the first defensive player.
Yes.
Messidor probably a first-round pick too, but definitely a
top 50 from what I'm saying. Yeah,
top 50 guy. Keontae Scott, the corner from Miami.
I think he's like a nickel do-it-all Petrie type.
Yes,
he took one to the house in the last round.
He sure did. He was the one who had the pick 6. He could be one of those. I still think. What's his name from Ohio State? Caleb Downs is the first defensive back off the board, but Keontae Scott might not be too far behind.
Okay.
Then Francis Mayorga, the offensive tackle from Miami, who I think him or Faunu from Utah will be the first offensive tackle.
He could be a top 10 pick.
He absolutely.
He's one of those guys, if he doesn't make it a tackle, he's going to be a guard type, big mauler.
For Ole Miss, keep an eye on Suntarine Perkins, the linebacker. He is not quite Arvell Reese, not quite Micah Parsons.
He's kind of a do-it-all edge rusher
but he's in that next tier down. They play him on the edge. They play him off ball. He makes 1 million tackles. He's got double-digit sacks. He's all over the place. And I think he's one of those guys that will really rise in draft conversations and draft boards once we get through this process and into that.
Just watching him, I bet he's a good tester. Like he flies around,
Total. The way he flies around and everything, and I bet you he'll interview really well.
Okay.
And his game brain stuff at the grease board will be really good. So there's some names to watch. I do think Miami gets it done, but I think this is a true coin flip tonight. I think tonight's going to be a NASCAR race.
Really?
Tomorrow's game between Indiana and Oregon, I think, will be lower scoring. Who blinks first? Who makes mistakes? Where tonight could be crazy back and forth, turnovers, interceptions, pick sixes, wild one.
And we didn't mention Beck.
Carson Beck, of course.
I mean, he hasn't had to do a lot the last couple weeks.
This might be the week he has to.
But he shows up,
And then again, keep an eye on Trinidad Chambliss because he's committed to, quote-unquote, finishing his college career at Ole Miss. But
that could end tonight. That could end
or
a year from now.
Or if he has a massive game and they win tonight and all of a sudden he's going to be a top 50 pick in the draft. Who knows?
Yeah.
But that is your action tonight to tee up a fun 5 days of football here for sure. That will do it for us today. Big thanks to Bob Labriola for joining us, Nathan for producing on the radio side, TV, Tyler V for keeping us handsome on YouTube. I'm Wes Uhler for my co-host Matt Williamson. Take care, everybody. We will talk to you tomorrow where we will really deep dive into all of these matchups. 5-Star Friday. I'm so excited I'm burping here on the microphone as it'll be all Steelers and Texans tomorrow on the program. You know where to find us as always. Take care. We'll talk to you tomorrow on your 24/7 home of the black and gold, Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network.